So now we're going to go ahead and configure the sound sensor. So the sound sensor works by detecting the volume of sound, and it also can detect sound patterns. So it will listen for different forms of the sound, and it will report back to us as a percentage, and it's measured in decibels. So we're going to go ahead and configure our sound sensor. We'll go to the sensing section and we'll just click configure sensors, and just like before, we're going to attach it to whichever port we have connected the sound sensor to. Okay, so we'll press OK, and now we have our sound sensor in decibels. So if we want to go ahead and see the different range, we can make a variable, just like what we did before with the distance. We're going to make a variable that's going to store our information on here. So I'm just going to call it vol for volume, and it shows up on display here in the right hand side. So if we want to see the different levels of volume, to see how much a low volume will really be detected by the sound sensor and how large it will go, we can see that number range. So when we're programming in the future, when we want to have a greater than or less than operator, we know kind of the range of what we want our robot to detect. So if we want to set the volume to the sound in decibels and run this and have it continuously read that program, and if we were to go ahead and run the program, and if you were to speak into your sound sensor, you will see the different range. So try whispering, try speaking a little louder. Don't scream though, in case someone else is trying to do it. A challenge that doesn't need it to be too loud, but just get a good sense of the sound sensor at work. So you can go ahead and do that. And if we wanted to write a quick program so that our robot can respond to, we can go ahead and just get everything kind of ready and organized. So it's able to turn off and on easily, so it's not going to just start right away, because if you were to not have this on, even sometimes the turning on your NXT when it makes that beeping sound could activate it. So we don't necessarily want that. I'm going to show you another block. It's the forever if block. So it's going to repeat forever only if whatever we put inside here happens. So it won't start until the command that is put inside this block. But then once it reaches that command, it will repeat forever. So we're going to go ahead with our forever if block. And if we were to go to our sound sensor, again, it's not going to fit in there. So we're going to have to use our operator greater than or less than block. So let's say if the sound gets greater, so it's going in first. So remember the point points to the smaller number. So when if the sound is greater in decibels is greater than 20, then it's going to do something. So it has to be a bit of a louder sound. So if the sound in decibels is greater than 20, let's have it drive. Let's then make it drive forward. So that could be one program that you could write. You could also use an if-else statement. If the sound is, let's see, high, even higher, so then stop, else just keep driving. So that's another program that we could write. So there's lots that we could do with this. So for this program right here, it's only if it hears that sound, then it will drive. So you can play around with it. I do have a video. It's not the same program that I have here, but when I'm speaking into it, it does drive.
Go.
So you can see that you can use the sound in a lot of different ways. There are going to be challenges that you will have to program where it will have to start on a sound. So play around with it, get comfortable with detecting the different measurements of sound, know your greater than and less than, and how high and low it needs to go for your robot to respond. So you can go ahead and configure your sound sensor just in the sensing, configure your sensor, make sure it's in the right port, and remember to use an operator block and put the sound level from sound sensor inside of that block in order to use it to program with. So go ahead and experiment with the sound sensor and have fun.